Number 5 is called organizing resources. At a very high level for the CEO, if you're the CEO of the company, you've got to make sure you've got the right structure in your company. Like, what does the org chart look like? And by the way, do we have all the seats filled? Do we have names that are in multiple spots where it's like, wait, we have the same person on 3 important boxes? So it's important to understand where your organization is right now, but equally important is where are you going?
Where are you going to go?
And so you can map that out and say, when are we going to get to this level? So that at the high level. When I get into simple tools for organizing, there's one big tool, because when you're organizing resources, what do you have? You have time, you have money, you have people. So money, obviously, you build a budget.
Why make trillions when we could make billions?
A trillion is more than a billion, numbnuts.
All right, Zip.
Everybody talks about time management. Everybody's got their own system of managing time. The simplest thing is they always say, hey, look at your time for a week or 2 weeks. Color coordinate, whatever you have to do. The important thing that I want to talk about in organizing is delegation. Because as a manager, that's how you're going to manage your time and help get things done through people, because people are one of the resources. So a lot of times people will delegate or say something to somebody that needs to get done, but they're never really clear on it. They don't put a date on it of when it needs to be completed. They don't talk about the resources needed to complete it. Most importantly, you know what they don't do? They don't follow up.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
Yeah, I guess.
So delegating is critical for managers. First step is you got to pick the right person. Then you got to clearly communicate what you're delegating, which gets back to that communication loop, making sure they understand it, have them play it back for you. You've got to put a date on it. And then we got to do what we just talked about in planning. You got to follow up at a certain time, a designated time. We're going to follow up and see how things are moving along. That's why when I said earlier in the planning process, when you asked, how do you make sure it happens? When you build a plan with dates and names, then we have that regular cadence of follow-up. It's all built in. You're delegating and you're following up. That's why I'm so glad we're talking about the 6 punches, because once you start to understand them and you start to leverage them all, they start to reinforce each other. That's the tool I want to talk about as it relates to organizing, making sure we're delegating properly.